Okay, hello and welcome to another video. First of all, huge shout outs to our very first subscriber here on Coolster Codes. Muito obrigado, seja bem-vindo, estou muito animado, and thank you very much for subscribing. Okay, here we go. Today's video, we're going to talk about Windows HostProcesss Pods. Yes, a very long-awaited video. Finally got around to it. So basically with Windows HostProcesss Pods, you have this pod which runs almost similarly to privileged pods like in Linux, but with Windows it's running as a host process. And one area you might run into when you launch these kinds of pods is this failed to get application name from command line, failed to find executable. Super mysterious, like really hard to understand and find info about. But here we will unravel this mystery. Okay, so first of all, we need access to a Windows HostProcess Kubernetes cluster. And here we're going to use AKS Engine to create that for us. So this script will create this cluster for you. You just need to provide a subscription ID. And let's talk about the configuration file here. It basically includes one special feature here. Feature gates and passing it in Windows host process containers equals true. Also, Kubernetes version has to be 1.23 or higher for this host process cluster to work. But yeah, so given this, you can create a Windows host process cluster in your Azure subscription. So let's just real quick go to that. I already did that before the video because it takes a little while. But once you run the script, you should see some kind of output here that basically says, your cluster is now created. All right, what next? So the next thing is let's containerize, an application to launch as a host process. So this app is super simple. It just prints hello to the console and sleeps. That's it. And we're going to use Docker to containerize it. So this Docker file includes the commands to turn this code file into an executable. And then this here, Docker build, will build the actual container. So let's just make sure that builds. Okay, so yeah, that's how you build this app. Okay, next to the best part of the video. So like here, let's talk about this failed to get application name from command line. Essentially, since your Windows host process pod is running as a host process, if you've specified a absolute path like user local bin, like I have here, /user/local/bin, as the entry point of the app, if we scroll a little bit up, look at this Docker file, right? Entry point /user/local/bin. That means when you launch this as a host process, it's going to use the Windows virtual machines file system, and it'll try and look for that application executable, but it's not on the host actually. It's in the pod itself, right? So it's super strange, but there's a variable called container sandbox mount point, and we need to use this variable in the command field of our deployment YAML. So this YAML will launch our pod as a host process, but notice this command is the key. You have to specify the container sandbox mount point and give the path to your application executable. Yes, that's the reason. So like if we, first of all, we can just quickly launch this pod without that line and see what happens. So let's just, get the error going. Okay. So if we launch the pod and get the pods, we will see, okay, it's creating container error. Why is that? We can describe, describe pod, host process pod. Let's see what's happening in here. yeah, if you can, sorry, let me maximize this. But it basically says failed to find application name. I don't know where this binary is. Okay, failing. Yeah, so the reason is because it does not have the right path since it's using it as a host process. So let's delete this and put that environment variable at the beginning of our path. Then if we apply again, okay, it's created. Let's look at the pods and make sure it is there. Now it's running. Cool. And if we look at the logs, okay, there we go. We got our hello message. So yeah, basically, the moral of the story is when you're launching a HostProcesss pod and you use an absolute file path for your executable entry point, you have to use this container sandbox mount point at the beginning of your deployment command. And that's it. Yeah, thank you for watching. Stay posted for new videos and stuff. Appreciate your support. Have a great day.